Happening now, the state Senate is moving to pass a pair of Democratic spending bills this evening on an emergency basis. The state House has already greenlit more than $40 million worth of spending. But as News 8 political reporter Mike Cerulli tells us, the governor has signaled opposition. Mike.
Yeah, good evening to you. And the governor has said simply here that he does not believe there is room in the state budget for about $40 million in additional spending. The Democrats here in the legislature, they disagree. Republicans seem to agree with the Democratic assessment that there is room, but disagree with where some of that money appears to be headed. Defying warnings from Governor Ned Lamont, the Democratic State Senate President Marty Looney and Republican Senate Leader Steve Harding both insisted there is room in the state budget for $40 million of spending on special education.
Where we sit today, the money is there, and we can devote it towards the municipalities and offsetting some skyrocketing special education costs.
We know it's something of great challenge for communities large and small because special ed placements are hard to plan for, hard to budget for. There's a shortfall this year.
Where the two parties diverge is over an additional $3 million in spending that Democrats are set to give to LGBTQ groups and Planned Parenthood.
You know, it's Christmas for various entities that are aligned with the Democratic majority.
If we have surplus, the money should be going to addressing putting food on the table of the neediest, putting oil in the fuel tanks of the neediest in our communities.
The state Senate president responded.
These particular grantees were chosen because they are under siege and under attack from their national government.
With their eye toward Washington, D.C., Connecticut Democrats also passed a measure that would require local school boards to develop concrete policies on how to deal with immigration officials.
They'll at least have some guidelines about what they need to do if ICE shows up at their door.
And again, the Republicans raised objections, questioning the policy itself, as well as the fact that all these unrelated measures were stuck together in two large bills.
This bill, to me, is symbolic of the majority party shaking their fist at the President of the United States.
This should be all separate issues that we as legislators have independent votes on.
And I mentioned there how broad this bill is. Just to give you a sense of it, one other measure included in here is a bill that would essentially allow UConn to directly pay its student athletes. That's another key element of the legislation working its way through the process right now. That bill comes as a result of a Supreme Court ruling. They say it's inevitable that this will happen around the country. Connecticut now on its way to codifying it in law that UConn can pay its student athletes. Reporting live at the state capitol tonight, I'm Mike Cerulli, News 8.